Hello everyone, my name is David. I want to tell you a tragedy that happened in China 2 weeks ago. I've been keeping an eye on what's going on in China for the past few years, as my wife and I have always wanted to adopt a child from China. Our motivation is quite simple. We saw a documentary a few years ago showing the miserable conditions in one of the rural areas in Sichuan province. You know, that highland village didn't even have clean water. The kids there had to take a 2-hour trek to go to school, and some of them didn't even own a pair of sneakers. So my wife and I wanted to adopt a kid from that area, to make one less child suffer. But what happened 2 weeks ago to a girl in grade 5 really disturbed me. It made me realize that saving one child from China is far from enough. So I made this video, and hopefully more people can learn what's happening in China, and we may save some kids by paying more attention to them. So here's what happened. Quote, homework without positive energy results in the schoolgirl's suicide, unquote. This girl, last name Miu, was required to write a review of a famous Chinese story. In her review, she compared the demons in story to the hypocrites in real life, and suggested that people should be vigilant about those hypocrites in the society today. But her Chinese teacher didn't like it. The teacher struck through most of Miu's review with a red pen, and said there was no positive energy in her writing. So after harshly criticized by the teacher, Miu killed herself by jumping from the 4th floor of the school building. I mean, the whole thing was ridiculous. There was nothing wrong about this girl's opinion. She said, quote, be careful about hypocrites in the society, unquote, and I didn't see anything inappropriate there. Let's say, even if the student's opinion was inappropriate, as a teacher, it's your responsibility to guide your students in a patient-friendly way, instead of, harshly criticizing them, let alone causing their death. The whole thing didn't make sense to me at first. So I did a little homework there, and I found the reason. It started with the misinterpretation of the phrase positive energy in the context of China's Communist Party propaganda. In mainland China, anything showing criticism of the society may have the possibility of being tagged as negative energy and be censored immediately. So in the education system, neither educators nor students are allowed to criticize any dark side of the government. And you know what's worse? Most people in China take this kind of censorship for granted. Not only do they keep an eye on what other people say, they also censor themselves. People who express the so-called negative energy about the society might even be deemed as traitors of the country. So under this particular situation, implying there are hypocrites existing under the current governance would definitely be considered as negative energy. I can't even imagine how much pressure this 10-year-old little girl suffered. She might not even understand the reason of being bashed by the teacher before she killed herself. What happened after the incident was also horrifying. The parents of Miu's classmates were asked to back up this Chinese teacher. And sadly, a lot of parents did it accordingly. I guess because other parents are afraid that their children would become the next Miu if they didn't do it. And when Miu's parents asked the school to take responsibility by posting a Chinese tweet, Weibo, local police interfered and intimated the parents to delete their tweet. I guess because their post also contained the so-called negative energy of the society. But luckily yesterday, the local government officials finally said that they would start an investigation into the Chinese teacher. But hopefully in the end, it will give justice to this little girl. Well, so that's the end of the story for now. A 10-year-old girl was dead, her parents' voice couldn't be heard, and that morally bankrupt society is full of positive energy again. I know this incident was just a small event happening at the other side of the world, and it wasn't widely reported. But that is actually what most Chinese students are suffering right now, from kindergarten to university. So please, if you can, share this video with your friends, and we may be able to save some of those Chinese students by giving them enough attention. I'll keep sharing events and thoughts about China. Thanks very much for watching.